Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another episode of Pornstar Confessions. Today I have got the incredibly handsome Tyler Saint. Welcome, Tyler.
Thank you for having me.
So, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
My actual age is 59. I turned 59 on March 3rd. I was born in 1965. So I'm pushing 60.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, been around for a while.
Dear God, dude. If I look half as good as you at 60, I'll be over the moon ecstatic. Because for those of you watching, Tyler you're jacked. I mean, you're fucking ripped.
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of maintenance, I call it.
Yeah, and the older you get, the less slack you have as far as, cheating, going off your diet, missing workouts, etc.
You are exactly right. I remember the days where I used to be able to eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream before going to bed and not gaining an ounce. And now if I did that, I'd be big as a house.
So how did you get into porn? Like, was this like a childhood teenage dream, or did you just fall into it? What happened?
I think it was kind of a progression. In my early 20s, I was a go-go dancer. Well, actually, not a go-go dancer. I was actually a burlesque dancer when back before go-go dancing, when actually you would have a routine, you would have a mixtape that you would hand the DJ. They would clear the dance floor, and you would go out and do your 3 to 5 minute set and collect tips and be done with it. I did that for a number of years. I was living in New England at the time in Connecticut. Um, did it for, gosh, about 10 years. Then it progressed to doing go-go dancing. The burlesque shows weren't doing quite as well. People didn't like the fact that they had to close. So I would be dancing in a crow's nest at the tunnel in New York City, or I would be dancing in a cage 30 feet above the dance floor at the Palladium. This was back in the 80s and the 90s when it was a really good, fun time in New York City when Chelsea was actually Chelsea.
Nice. So, were you doing something else as your day job as well, or just that?
Yeah, actually, that was when computers had first come out. And I kind of taught myself Windows and so on and so forth. And I applied for a job at Pitney Bowes as an intern IT specialist. So I was actually doing that while I was dancing at night. And I also opened the gym that I worked out in at 5 a.m. every morning. So I had 3 jobs going on. Yeah, I did that for a number of years.
Why, if you don't mind me asking? Because I'm assuming your first job paid pretty well.
It did pay pretty well, but who doesn't want more money? And easy money and fun money. I mean, I was having a ball doing the dancing. I was literally in some of the most weird dance places that you could imagine, with dressing rooms either being a female's bathroom or the stock room or a room full of mops and buckets. It's like it's just I would find myself in these most bizarre places, and I'd be saying, "How the heck am I here?" But it's really fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that, yeah,
If that
no,
makes sense.
I get it. Um, so was this when you're doing all three of these jobs? This was during like the AIDS epidemic, right? Or is that before?
It was. No, it was kind of toward the tail end of it.
What was that like?
I, it's kind of weird. I never did drugs. I went and I did my set, and as soon as I was done, I would leave. So I never really partook. I don't know if that's actually
Yeah.
a word. I didn't really partake in any of the extracurricular activities. I was actually in a relationship with somebody at the time who was also a dancer. So I knew that staying would probably not be a good thing for our relationship. So we both did the same thing. We both go do our sets, and then we would leave. We treated it as a business as opposed to recreational, but it was still fun.
Yeah. So,
And then you're back to your original question: how did I get into porn? So that's how it actually started with that. I was voted the best go-go dancer in New York City by HX Magazine for a
wow.
number of years. Um, and then I kind of got out of that a little bit when I got into a relationship and moved into the city with somebody. Stopped for a while, and then I got a bartending job in a club in New Haven, Connecticut, where I used to live near there, and did that for a little bit, commuting back and forth into the city. I just did it on Friday nights. But I was making a buttload of money, so it was worth the trip every Friday. And then I stopped for a number of years and moved to California. Um, I was working out at Gold's Gym one day, and this man comes up to me. He goes, "Have you ever considered doing porn?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I don't think I really want to go that far right now." He goes, "Well, if you ever consider it, I can get you some work tomorrow." And he handed me his card. So I stewed on it for a couple of weeks. And I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I need the money? Do I want to have some fun right now? So I called him, and I went over and met with him. And like the typical casting couch, he made me get naked and so on and so forth. I didn't have to have sex with him or anything, but just obviously wanted to see what he was working
Yeah.
with. And then from there, he's like, I can get you a booking tomorrow.
Oh
I'm
shit.
like, all right, let's do
And
it.
what year was this roughly?
I'm trying to pinpoint when it actually was. It was probably somewhere in the mid 90s. I think I was like 45 or 46 when I started doing porn, or somewhere maybe 40. It's kind of a blur. It just happened so randomly and so fast. Life happens fast.
Yes. The older you get, the more you realize that.
And then you start forgetting segments of your life or not knowing when it actually
Mhm.
took place. But
So, what your first studio scene you had, how was it different versus, on one hand, you have what you think it's going to be like versus what it is actually like? What was that?
okay, that's a really good question. Um, when the typical viewer watches porn, they're seeing it in a way different light than
Mhm.
it's actually what's transpiring. It looks like it's fun and you have sex and you have an incredible time, when in fact it's a lot of starting and stopping and doing things over, getting the right angle, trying to stay hard. Just a lot of dynamics into making something that seems very sexual, not very sexual at all. It's kind of basically just going through the motions at some points.
Yeah. And would you,
It takes the spontaneity of sex out of it because you're doing it over and over and over and over and over.
yeah. But like when that first shoot was like all done and wrapped, what were your feelings towards porn then after having experienced it?
I guess it just met my idea of what it actually was behind the scenes. I mean, I've obviously watched porn. Everybody watches porn. But it just took the sexual part out of it for me. I really don't like to watch my own stuff because I'd be too critical. I'm like, oh God, I got a zit on my butt, or how did I miss that long hair on my back, or that was a stupid angle. You look fat, or so it took the sexualness out of it, and I was more analytical of it, analytical and critical of myself, actually.
Yeah. So, what made you keep doing it then?
I was, I think I had gotten into it at the right time for me. So I was getting a lot of work and a lot of notoriety, and it was kind of cool to actually be somebody living in West Hollywood and not just being a typical cute face walking the streets, and actually had people know who I was and want to talk to me and want to be part of who I was as that persona.
Yeah.
So it was kind of appealing at the time. Not to say I was conceited about it, but it was just nice to have people know who you
Yeah.
were.
Do you think that, because I mean, that was, I don't know, would you say that was like the golden age of porn, if you will?
I think it was the tail end
Yeah.
of it. Um, the internet obviously killed porn. People were stopping, not buying DVDs and CDs and VHS anymore. It was so accessible online that it just killed the industry. And I mean, it obviously still needed models and stuff to film
Yeah.
all of it, but the studios were losing money, so therefore the production value was going down, and it, like I said, I think I got into it at the right time, right before the demise of the fun, real fun part of it.
Yeah. Do you,
Obviously, the pay had decreased considerably too over the once that started happening.
yeah. I'm curious though, like, because, when you got into it, you were definitely older. Do you think that you
Mm-hmm.
would have been able to handle the notoriety and everything else that came along with it in, say, your early 20s, like 21, 22?
Well, I kind of was a somebody in my 20s in the city because of the dancing and people knowing who I was. I mean, I never ever had to wait in a line at a gay club in New York City. Everybody knew who I was. I'd go to the Roxy. I'd walk to the front of the door. I'd say, "Hey," to Fernando, the doorman. He's like, "Come on, man. Do you have anybody with you? You want to get in?" So it's always been there. Um, I think what people choose to do with that notoriety makes a huge difference in a lot of things. I was never a person that took it seriously. I never lived the industry. It was just something that I did as a job. There are some people who live it and that's their entire life. And I think if it had turned into my entire life, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, especially back in the late 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like I said, I never touched a drug until probably I was 40 something.
Wow.
I was all around it, and I just never chose to do it.
Okay. Wh-
And I think that's kind of what saved me.
Where do you think that discipline and work ethic and humility, where does that all come from? Because you're right, a lot of people lack that.
That's a hard question to answer because everyone is so different. I don't have an addictive personality. Um, I can take or leave things easily. I don't drink either. I think because my dad, I just never desired to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah,
So I think maybe a lot of it had to do with my upbringing
that makes sense.
versus something that you just learn.
Mhm. So, did you leave porn between when you originally started and now, or have you been in it the entire time?
I stopped for a while when I met my current husband, who is also in the industry as well. Um, and we didn't do anything for the first, I think, year and a half to 2 years of our relationship. And he didn't come out until very much later in life. So I kind of wanted, he was curious about doing some of the stuff that I had done. Like he loves being naked, he loves to go dance, he loves being on film. So we talked about it and decided to do the OnlyFans thing, which has become quite lucrative for us and really fun. I think it kind of enhances our own sex life. Even though a lot of it is transactional, it's still fun.
Yeah. So, what made you guys leave it though? I'm assuming.
No, I left it when I met him because he wasn't doing it at the time. I
Um,
I I completely stopped doing it. I told him that I'm going to be um, with you, and that was agreeable.
and that was your decision, or is that a request from him?
It was my decision.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
I thought it was what was needed at the time. Just if I mean, you're obviously starting a new relationship, you don't want to go around and be having sex on camera with somebody else and with somebody else and with somebody else when you're trying to build a
yeah.
relationship with your significant person.
So, how did him getting into it, how did that all come about?
Well, he's obviously knew that I was that I had done it prior to being with him, and it kind of intrigued him, and so we figured why not make a little extra cash. We started doing the OnlyFans with just the two of us, um, and then figured out that maybe people wanted to see more
Mm,
us with other people, and we kind of did a little survey on OnlyFans, and that's what they wanted to see. So we invited a couple of different people in. We came to the conclusion that it was okay for our relationship. It worked well with us. There was no jealousy, nothing like that. It was strictly work, and it was a way to make some great
yeah.
cash. We travel all over the world on that money, and just have a ball with it. So it's kind of like our recreational money.
Wow. Okay. So, out of all of these porn star confessions I've done, the reoccurring theme, obviously not all the time, but it seems like, if you do porn, it's gonna make dating a million times harder and all that. So my question for you is, how do you two make that work?
Because we're both doing it. I think that's what actually makes it work.
Okay.
I can understand your what you were saying with one person because I was in a relationship for about 7 years while I was doing that porn, and the person that I was, it was really hard. I'm sure for him to see me leave to go film and have sex with somebody else while he sat at home, and I didn't think about that until after I was with him. The what if because if the tables were turned, I would have been no way, this is not happening.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But it was something that I didn't realize until after the fact. I mean, I kind of thought about it, but I didn't think about it as in depth as I did after I was not with him anymore. I'm like, God, I really put him
So,
through that.
okay. And if was that the reason you guys broke up, or is there something else that had happened?
Something completely
Oh,
different.
okay. So, okay, I get your current boyfriend, husband.
Husband, we are married. We've been married since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
with your husband, though, I'm trying to think how to say this. Uh, like Steve Cruz, the director, gave me some of the best advice I've ever heard. And his advice was, if you're going to do porn, if you're going to be a celebrity, if you're going to be an actor, whatever, you need to keep something for yourself. Like, don't broadcast everything. Um, and what I'm asking is, like, how do you separate the two between, hey, this is just our time, and okay, we're going to film this? Because I would think that they would start to bleed over and, you know, affect each other. I could be totally wrong, though.
No, you're right in a way, because my husband's name is Hunter. He goes, his name is Ace Banner. He's the personality of Ace Banner. He feels that the more we post, the more money we're going to make, and I feel more like there's got to be more quality than more posting. So he feels like we should be filming all the time, whereas I feel like let's just do it on more special with better quality production, if that makes any sense.
No.
So I don't know if I'm answering your question correctly. I look at it more of a business. He really enjoys it.
Gotcha. Okay. But have you noticed, I mean, has the fact that you've shot together impacted the times that you aren't shooting together?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
no. Our sex life is pretty healthy.
Okay. So how do you decide whether you're filming it or not? Like, is there a key decision that gets made?
Well, we kind of know we're going to do it in advance because where we live in the middle of nowhere, basically living in the middle of a hayfield in Mississippi. So our choices for filming with people are very minimal, to little to none to non-existent actually. So we always plan these trips like to Atlanta or to Fort Lauderdale or to Palm Springs. So we know in advance that when we're traveling, we're actually going to film.
Uh,
So it's time that's set aside for that.
okay, that makes sense. So, and you're an exclusive for Le Grand Wolf, right? Carnal.
We both are. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I always said I was never going to be exclusive with anyone, and I was offered through many times to different studios in my heyday, and I just wanted to be more of a free agent. Whereas this time, um, the Carnal family is just that. It is a family. Everybody looks out for each other, and it just felt right to be an exclusive with them. Not that anyone else is knocking down my door for me to be an exclusive with them, so it's not like it's a big issue.
yeah. So, what was different about Carnal was that it's a sense of family. Anything else?
It's just comfortable. It's really easy. It's effortless. All that in conjunction just made it seem like it was the right thing to do. Plus, Legrand is a really good, sweet man. He's a really good
Yeah,
guy.
no, I would agree with you 1,000% there.
Super smart. One of the smartest men I know.
Oh God, he is literally the only dude in porn where I would actually pay money just to like pick his brain and like know, fuck, I would love to know everything he knows. So,
And if he doesn't know it, he will find out and get you that information.
yep,
But I have never asked him a question where he didn't know the answer.
wow. So, how did you and your husband originally meet for the first time?
Get that question all the time. Back in the day when Big Muscle was around and Dudes Nude and all those early on websites, I would have a profile, he would have a profile. We would always find each other somehow. And we chatted for probably 4 years before we actually met in person.
Wow.
He was traveling. I was living in LA at the time in West Hollywood, and he was had a business trip out in LA. And he said, "Do you finally want to meet?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, why not? I mean, we've been talking for so long. We should actually meet." And he came out, and we went to lunch, and it was all downhill from there, or uphill, or whatever the comment
Yeah.
would be. But we've been together ever since.
Okay. How how did you guys talk for that long prior to meeting? Because I get like wanting to take it slow and not rush into things, but like what you're describing, that's slower than molasses. That's dead slow.
It really was slow. Um, I had I was in the ending part of a very unhealthy relationship. So getting the attention from someone else was really nice, but I never acted upon it. And then when that relationship ended and Hunter and Ace and I were still talking, I had no desire to get into another relationship. I wanted to be single for a while and just enjoy being finding out who I was back again, but as a single person, not having to be tied with somebody else, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. And and that all went out the window the day that we met. Um, knowing a lot about somebody beforehand, I feel like people are a little bit more forthright when you're talking to them, not face to face. They're a little bit more
Mhm.
open and a little bit more honest.
Agreed.
So everything that he had told me and we had talked about and his values and everything else was exactly what it was in person that it was online. And that's what drew me to him.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that quick side detour. I agree with you 1,000%. And I always thought people thought that I sounded crazy, but I agree with you 1,000% that, if I want to ask you something and I want an honest answer, it's probably better to text it because it gives you time to think about it and whatever else. Because, when you ask like certain questions in person, someone might feel, blindsided, or, they go into that panic mode. They're more likely to lie because they feel they're on the spot. Like, yeah, I'm glad you
You're
mentioned that.
exactly right.
Oh, so, and when was this you guys met?
We met in person in 2013, in right before his birthday in July.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's been a decade.
Yeah. If you want to put it that way, yeah, it makes it sound like forever, but yeah.
No, I mean, shit. I mean, a decade in
That's a good
gay
thing.
years, that's like 40 and straight. I'm impressed. I think it's
It's-
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And we got married here in Mississippi when it was legal, for a number of reasons. Aside from the fact that we loved each other and wanted to spend the rest of our lives with each other. There were no drive-by shootings. There were no burning crosses. In getting married in Mississippi, everything was pretty cool.
uh, so do you still have your day job, or is this what you do full time?
I'm actually a 59-year-old college student right now,
Wow.
trying to figure out what I want to do in my life and get a degree. I went into the military right after high school, so I never had the opportunity to go to college. So I'm doing it now and finding it quite difficult as an adult to learn how to study all over again.
Yeah. No, I'm actually in.
And
Go ahead.
and being the oldest person sitting in my class by probably 20 to 30 years.
Yep. I'm in grad school right now, and I'm almost 42, so I get it. And some of these other kids, I'll look around and I'm just like, God. When I was your age, God, it was like a human red bullet, early 20s.
Yeah.
You didn't need sleep.
Nothing in common with these kids. And in fact, I had a comment which I thought was pretty funny. Is like, and then everybody calls me Johnny. That's my friends call me Johnny, and my classmates were calling me Johnny. And one of them said, "Wow, Johnny's 59 years old. He's already lived his life, and here he is going back to college. I think that's pretty cool." I'm like, "I've already lived my life. Wow, make it sound like I'm going to die tomorrow."
Okay, so have you figured out your major yet?
Want to do something in the medical field. I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm just getting all my prereqs done right now.
Okay, nice. What would your dream job be?
You know what? I'm one of those people that never really knew what they wanted to do when they grew up, but I just know I want to be able to help people. So whatever medical thing I decide on will make sure that I'm able to actually help people.
I think it's a great idea.
I know that's very vague, but there's just so many different things in the medical field that you can do. I just have to pinpoint what it is that I really want to do.
Yeah. I think nursing would be very fulfilling for you.
Yeah, the one thing about nursing though is the first thing that comes to mind is cleaning up somebody's mess, and that does not sound appealing to me. Everything else about it sounds appealing, but
Well, I mean, you don't have to take those kinds of jobs. I mean,
that's
there's
true.
tons of things you could go be a nurse in a prison. You could go, you could do at home health. You could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, hell, you could
Yeah.
work in an ER. Although I'm assuming that would be harder to get into.
Yeah, I also got to take into consideration the job market living in a really small town is kind of bleak. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my husband to move south. Farther south, the better. I hate cold weather.
It gets cold in Mississippi?
It gets cold in Mississippi,
Oh,
yes.
shit, okay.
We don't have palm trees and it's not tropical here.
I knew that. I just assumed it was at least, like, 60 year round.
No, 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 no. We've had days in the teens this
Oh,
winter.
wow, okay.
Yeah, it gets cold, but we get an earlier. We have a late fall and an early spring, so we have about 3 months worth of winter,
Okay,
which I would consider winter.
so the $1,000,000 question then, and I was even thinking about this prior to talking to you, is, you and your husband are both in porn. Why the fuck do you live in Mississippi? Like, I would think that would be like it just seems so counterintuitive.
Right. We get asked that all the time, especially when people say, "Where do you live?" and we say Mississippi, and they just like, "Why Mississippi?" Ace has 3 children, and they grew up here, so he wants to keep the house that they grew up in as their home base if they ever want to come back home, which I get. He's a big family person,
Okay,
so that's why we stay here. All of his family we live within a 20-mile radius of where we are right now.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are the kids?
Youngest is 20 in her early 20s, and the oldest is in his late 20s.
Oh, okay. And did you help raise them?
Well, I've been around for about 11 years, so more or less. I mean, I was the good dad and the one that they came to when they needed something, and Ace was the disciplinary one. I never did any
Mm,
disciplinary stuff with them. I didn't think it was my
yeah.
place.
Okay.
But they would all come to me if it was something that they wanted because they knew that Daddy Johnny would give it to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what was that like though? Like raising kids that aren't yours? I'm curious.
Well, they didn't live with us; they lived with their mom.
Oh,
So they were not around all the time. So it's not that I was really raising them, but they were around a, a good amount. I liked the energy of having kids in the house, so it wasn't a really big deal for me.
energy as far as just like hope, optimism, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and just having people around in the house, just having a body in the house, and activity, and they're bringing their friends over and just living their lives, and it was just nice to be part of something that wasn't just being by myself or being with
Yeah,
Ace or Hunter.
I get it. So, do you have any plans? Like, I get the reason why you guys are staying. Well, are there any long term plans to move away?
We talk about it all the time, hypothetically, what it'd be like to live in Florida. But Hunter always says he wants to retire in Barcelona, so that's hopefully our plan. It's one of our most favorite cities that we travel to.
Okay. Why Barcelona?
Have you ever
No,
been?
I mean yes, but I was like too little to remember it. I don't remember.
Oh, you have to go. It's just the culture, the climate, the people. It's just a great place to be.
Okay.
A lot of history.
So, when is retirement?
Who knows? I'm not even thinking about that yet. I'm still having fun doing what I'm doing
Okay.
and figuring out who I am and what I want to do. I'm not even thinking about when you start thinking about retirement. That means you're old.
You sound like my best friend. Exactly like him. You said you had served in the military when you were younger. How did that all come about?
Well, not to go into too great of a detail, but I can if you'd like. But I did grow up in foster care system my entire life. As a child, I was in 3 different homes. The last family that I was with in my formative and teenage years were not very um, nurturing. Is a good
So,
word. So they always thought that I was never going to amount to anything, and that I needed to go into the military in order to become a man. So that's kind of how that happened. Um, and I had never really known about being that I was if I was a ward of the state that I was allowed 4 years of paid college. They never told me that, so I kind of missed out on that. So I was kind of forced to do the military thing, which in hindsight did allow me to grow up a little bit quicker. So I can't really fault them for having me do that. Maybe it was just what I needed at the time. You know, everybody has a path, whether you lay that path out or not, or a higher power lays that path out for you. That's typically what's going to happen.
gotcha.
I always say that never plan anything because it can always change.
Yep. So, was it just you did your 4 years and you were done? Did you ever consider sticking around?
It was not for me. um, the military, I thought at the time, just attracted people that really had no control over their lives, and once they got a little bit of power, it kind of went to their head. So it was just wasn't for me. I actually got out early. I served 3 years, and then whatever time you have left over, you have to serve in the guard. So I had a year left, and so I served 2 years in the guard.
Uh-huh.
And a lot transpired within that time that I was in the military as well. I actually got married to a woman. Um, I've had a lot of lives.
Wow.
I married a girl that I had met in high school, and we kind of dated for a little bit, um, and then kind of lost touch after high school. And I think I knew I was gay all along. I think I knew I was gay since I was probably about 7 or 8. And all my buddies in the military were getting married, so I thought it was the thing to
Yep.
do. And I had never acted upon any relationship or anything with a man. Um, so that's why I got married. It lasted about a little less than 2 years,
And well,
just because of the fact that it wasn't fair to her for me to not be fully invested in a relationship that wasn't working for me.
yeah. What was the straw that broke the camel's back there? How did that end?
Um, I don't even remember how I met this person. I think I was in a park or something jogging because I was a big runner back then. And this guy comes up to me and started talking to me, and later um, ended up he asked me. I don't really remember how it actually happened, but we ended up having sex somehow. And it, ironically, this guy that I was having this pseudo relationship with turned out to be a lawyer, so he ended up being my divorce lawyer. Yeah, it was very
Oh,
complicated.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a conflict of interest for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
And he was actually in a relationship with somebody, uh, a long-term relationship, and I moved in with them, and that was my first experience. My first relationship was a throuple for about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so I dove in both feet first.
Jesus. What? Okay, I'm curious because I've talked about that on my show tons of times, like open versus monogamous versus poly. What was that experience like?
I didn't know any different, honestly, because it was basically my second relationship. I mean, my ex-wife was the first person I ever had consensual
Mhm.
sex with, and there's a reason why I say consensual
Yeah.
sex. But, so I didn't know any different. I didn't know it was not the norm. I didn't know. I I mean, I was never really exposed to the gay world and how it operated and how it worked. But I'm thankful for the fact that I actually had these two guys to show me the ropes, so to speak.
Hmm. Wow.
I can see how it would be difficult for somebody to come out who is confused about their sexuality, especially being that young.
Yeah. And how did your wife react, if you don't mind me asking?
I think she knew. Um, the uh, the we didn't really even talk about my sexuality or her sexuality or how it affected either of us. We just knew that it needed to end. So it ended amicably.
Okay,
We just knew that it was not going to work.
gotcha. It's not sustainable long term when. So,
Exactly.
okay, that makes
And it wasn't fair for her to be trapped in a relationship that wasn't authentic.
sense.
She ended up marrying one of my Air Force buddies and having a ton of kids. So she it worked out really well for her.
Nice. Okay. Um, uh, I understand exactly what you were alluding to when you said consensual sex because I've been there. With that though, I mean, feel free to go more in depth depending on how much you want to talk about. But how has that affected your life long term, positively or negatively?
I don't think it really affected my life in either way. With the exception of the fact that somebody taking advantage of somebody who has no idea what they're doing or
Mhm.
what their sexuality is like at the time just really sucked.
Yeah.
First time I was, um, I think I was 8, and my neighbor was probably 17 or 18, molested me. Um, but I was so young that I don't even know what was going on or even remember what had transpired at the time. And then the second time, I was probably between 16 and 17. It was my scoutmaster, who I had looked up to, which was really kind of funny because in hindsight, he was gorgeous. And if I had known more about my sexuality, it probably would have been a cool thing, with the exception that I was that young. But to take somebody's innocence and not even really think about it really sucked.
No. But I believe,
I don't think it affected me as an. You asked if it affected me as an adult, and I don't really think it did, um, because it's something that I don't really think about a lot. I mean, I know it happened,
you know,
but when you're in the foster care system and you feel like you're a disposable person, anything that happens to you is just part of your life. It feels like it's just part of your life.
yeah. So I've always believed that like people come into your life or what bad shit happens, it's either A, it's a lesson, or B, it's a life sentence. So my question to you is though, how did you work it through in your head, if you will, to make it a lesson and not a life sentence? Because a lot of people will take, a bad experience and they'll just drag that shit and blow up every relationship and everything for the rest of their life. So what made you different?
I think it's just like I said, my resiliency. It's hard to explain what it's like to be a foster kid. Um, you don't really expect a lot, and you don't really open yourself up to permanency or normalcy. So anything that happens to you is just par for the course. So it never really bothered me one way or another that somebody did that to me. I mean, yeah, I think about it, and it really sucked because that, like I said, that person took my innocence without even any regard to what the circumstance of the fallout might be, which there wasn't any. So it's hard to answer that question because I was of the mindset that okay, This happened to me. What's next?
Gotcha. Well, that actually does make sense. I completely understand. So, the bodybuilding, when did that all start?
Um, that started when I started the go-go dancing back in my
Uh,
20s. I was actually kind of skinny at the time, but I was a twink, so it kind of worked. I was getting more popularity than the straight guys used to hate to dance with me because I would make more money than them.
Oh,
Because A, I was gay. Most of them were straight at the time. There were not a lot of gay dancers, burlesque dancers back in the day. Um, and I had because I was gay, I had a little bit more rapport and personality with the patrons of the clubs.
mhm.
So they hated dancing with me. Plus, I was super creative. I would have these uber elaborate costumes with these choreographed dance sets that I hired a dancer, a choreographer to teach me how to dance to specific songs, to specific sets. And I would have these amazing mixtapes that I would do myself. I kind of perfected the art for myself, which worked really well.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
uh, my second question with the bodybuilding, like, obviously, um,
Oh, I kind of went off
no,
tangent. I'm
no, no, no,
sorry.
you're good, you're good.
But in any case, I wanted to emulate, I guess, or look a little bit more like these other guys, the straighter guys that were big and buff and jacked and on
Uh-huh.
steroids. So I actually did my first steroid cycle when I was
Oh,
23
man.
and got a lot of really good results out of it. Um, I was 110 pounds when I graduated high school. I'm
Oh,
185
shit.
now. So you can tell the transition between my body is supposed to be small. So it's really hard to keep all this muscle
Yeah,
mass on. But once I started seeing results and I started looking different and looking what I thought was better and making a little bit more money, I was hooked. It just became part of my life after that.
yeah.
Plus, being a gay male, everybody wants to see the perfect, muscle chiseled body.
Mhm. Do you think your childhood factored into the bodybuilding at all?
I don't think so. I was never picked on for being skinny. I was never bullied, or I was never any of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's
A
super
lot of
common.
people that were picked on. What people that were picked on when they were a kid because they were skinny, they might want to get bigger, like the Charles Atlas thing.
Yep.
Nobody wants to get sand kicked in their face.
True, true. Okay. So, how has doing porn, like, I mean, because you've been doing this shit for quite a while, how has it improved or decreased just your overall quality of life, if you will?
Uh, well, the income has improved my quality of life. I mean, without a lot of the OnlyFans money and studio money back in the day, it afforded me to live in a lifestyle that I liked.
Gotcha.
So, and again, I treated it as a business. I didn't live the lifestyle. So when you treat something as a business, the money means a
Yeah.
little bit more.
So it was,
I mean, if people ask me the number one reason why I did it, it was probably because of the reaping the benefits of it. It had not anything to do with being popular or being a somebody or being a
yeah,
celebrity. That never really mattered to me. I mean, it was nice, but it didn't never really
yeah.
matter.
So it was, yeah. I think that's a good motivation because I will say that in my just my humble opinion, what I see on Twitter, the people who treat porn as a business, this is a job, it's very logical and rational, seem to be the most successful ones versus if someone's like, this is like playtime vacation, they're canceling left and
Mhm.
right, they're not being consistent with their posts, they're, you know, all over the place.
You're exactly right.
So, how do you stay consistent though with your content?
I have to thank my husband for that. He he tells me when to show up, what to do, and then from there he does everything. And I got to pay him a huge compliment for that. He basically is my manager, and he's managing myself and him at the same time. He himself and myself at the same time. So he does all the editing. He does all the posting. The only thing I have to do is just answer on my Instagram and my Twitter, and he handles all the
Wow.
rest.
Is porn the only thing he does?
But
Or is it
oh gosh, no, he has a very good corporate job. So this is the OnlyFans and the outside stuff is the second full time job for him.
Jesus. Okay, when the hell do you
Yeah,
guys sleep?
sounds like I'm the lazy one though.
But, like, when do you sleep? Like, when do you guys get to spend quality time together? Because that's a lot of
Oh, we have plenty of quality time together. He like if I'm at school is when he'll do the editing and stuff. So we make really good use of the time that we have together. And plus, with his job, he travels a lot. He just got back from a week in Norway,
wow,
so he programmed all the stuff to post while he was gone, so I didn't have to worry about it.
nice. Okay. So, well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm just gonna ask, do you think you 2 would ever adopt kids?
Do I Would I ever adopt kids? I just lost my dog that I've had for 15 years, and I'm done taking care of something. So, no, I don't barely have enough time for myself, so I don't think I would be a good dad
Yeah.
that way. And I don't even want to get another dog. It was traumatic for me to lose that pet. I lost her on October 17th or August
Dude,
17th. A pet that I've had for 15 years. So I was more or less devastated. It still
yeah.
bothers me.
What kind?
A Peruvian hairless,
Can't pick.
very rare, cool looking dog. Completely no hair at all.
Okay. And that was your only pet you
Yeah.
guys had? Okay.
Yes.
So what are your hobbies and what do you like to do off camera outside of work and everything?
Uh, Boring stuff. I like to do yard work. Nobody. And we travel a good bit, so and the gym. So there, I always say there are never enough hours in the day, but I don't feel like I do a whole lot. But the days are filled.
Okay. What's the secret?
I mean, People don't imagine me out in the yard sweating my balls off, carting dead trees and clippings to the side of the curb to be picked up by the garbage. You know, people when they look at me, they think all I do all day is porn and have sex. I do have a normal life.
That's very true.
That's the one misconception I think that people think that people who are in porn, all they do is have sex
Hmm.
all the time. They party, they go from club to club, circuit party to circuit party, um, you know, partner to partner. It's not like that. We all have normal
Yeah.
lives.
Well, that was actually the main reason I started this series was I wanted to, dispel the myths. Because you're right. When people think porn star, they think, drug addict, alcoholic, train wreck, sex addict. Nothing positive comes to mind, generally speaking.
You're
So,
right. I can't remember the last time I had alcohol. I take that back. We were in Mexico last week, and I had. Did I even have a drink? I didn't. It was the first time in Mexico that I didn't have a margarita. So I can't even tell you the last time I had alcohol. And when we go out completely sober.
good.
Not to say that in the '90s I didn't do my fair share, but we just choose not
Yeah,
to.
gotcha. Okay. Um, let's see. We've got.
And it's funny that people think that your lives are very different than what they actually
mm,
are. I live quite a very boring life, actually. It's not as exciting as people might think it would be.
So, would you say that you both are more introverted?
In terms of like social
So,
ability, or we just choose to stay home versus going out,
Yeah,
or
okay, so, then two-part question, like, would you rather, stay home and, you guys eat in and watch Netflix? That's the first question. Second question is, how do you like, let's say you're stressed, how do you recharge? Is it at home, or do you recharge by going out and being around, 5, 10, 15 people?
probably a little bit of both. We don't have a huge social life here. The gay community in Mississippi, although there are a few, we have a few gay friends, is very
Mm,
small. So we do most of our socializing and seeing friends when we travel. So it's a little bit of both. We actually recharge when we have more time we have more relaxation time when we travel than we do at home, if that makes any sense. Everyday life at home, there's always something to do. Like I said, I love to do yard work, so I'm always busy doing something. Um, you don't really recharge when you're doing menial stuff, but we travel a lot, so that's our
yeah.
recharge. We, in fact, we just got back from Zipolite, Mexico. We spent 9 days down there. That was
Oh,
our
wow.
recharge.
How often do you guys travel then?
Quite often. That was our third time going to Zipolite in less than a year.
Holy shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so money's
And
good then.
yes, and because Hunter travels a lot, I always a lot piggyback a lot on his trips.
Oh, so
So he has to go. He has to go to Palm Springs in a couple of weeks. So I'll tag along for a week, and we'll go do some content out there.
nice. Very nice. Um, Someone wants to know what was your best studio and best OnlyFans experience?
I get that all the time. I have had sex with so many people, with for so many studios over the years. It's really hard to pinpoint one particular time that would surpass any of the others. I try to make the best out of every
Mm,
situation that I'm in, so I enjoyed all of them. Same thing with the OnlyFans. Um, the one thing that I find particularly funny about the OnlyFans is that people want to see me do massages. I did so much incredible studio porn that the only thing that people remember me by are "you're that massage dude." So every time I have to film a massage, I'm like, okay, I got to do this again. I got to do this again. I've already done it a million times. I got to do
mm,
this again. But that's what people want. So you
mm.
got to give the people what
What
they
do you
want.
think it is about a massage? Because I've had quite a few videos where someone's massaging me, and they always do well. But I'm curious if like the reason. What is it about that that's
I think it's because it's maybe the taboo of. I honestly really don't know. I've been trying to figure it out myself. I don't know if it's the taboo because you're not supposed to be doing that during a massage, or it's because they think. I mean, the person is typically emulating the fact that they're straight, so you're kind of getting one over on a straight guy, so to speak. I really can't figure it out. I don't know. I'm just happy the fact that people want to keep
yeah?
seeing it.
All right. What is
I did. I don't know how many of those massage bait porns I did. I was probably filming one or two a week for
holy
several years,
shit?
so I've done a lot of them. Yeah, there are a
Damn.
lot of them out there. But like I said, I did so much incredible studio porn for Titan and Hot House and Falcon that people don't even talk about that. It's "you're that massage dude." I'm like,
Wow.
yep.
Okay. Um. Okay. Actually, quick sidebar. I'm curious. Maybe you might know, considering all the massages you've done. For me, I love getting massage, but if you and I were to have sex and shoot together, if you were to massage my feet first for like 5, 8 minutes, it would literally double the amount I would come. Any idea why that is?
Is that's probably because that's one of your spots. That's what turns you on. I guess it's just like the nipple thing. My nipples
Yeah.
not connected to anything, and there are people where you just touch them and they go spastic. I have no idea what it is that I'm missing, so I really can't. I don't know what it is that I'm missing, but I always feel like I'm missing out on something. I mean, they look like they want to do something, but
Yep.
they're dead.
No, mine are the same. Okay.
So, in answer to your question, I guess if that's one of your spots, your erogenous zone, so to speak, then that would be something that would turn you on. So, therefore, you would probably
Okay.
come
All
like
right, that
crazy.
makes sense.
The bottom of your feet are other people's nipples, I
Mm,
guess.
true. All right. What is the best thing slash not so best thing about working together with an in real life partner? It can be as trivial as an answer as like there's no cameraman. So
So
basically,
how
what's the best
can you?
thing and or not so best thing about working together with your partner? Like I think he's saying like,
I
for
would say that
example, you wouldn't have to
maybe.
hire like Joe Blow cameraman, so it's less awkward.
Well, whenever we film, we only film together, so it's not like he would be the cameraman. But we do hold the camera, the POV camera, for each other when the focus is on that person. So I mean, it's really cool to work together and experience something with the person that you love. Because, like I said earlier, it does kind of add to our sex life a little bit to have. I mean, how many gay men are really monogamous? You know, I'd rather have him be with me with somebody else as opposed to be him with somebody
Yeah.
else without me. The worst thing maybe about it is um, maybe I find
Mhm.
kissing very intimate. It's something that I don't necessarily like to do with other people that I'm not intimate with. I guess I'm a little bit Pretty Woman that way.
Yeah.
George Julia Roberts. Um, but watching him kiss somebody passionately sometimes gets
Oh,
me. And that's on me. It's not on him
yeah.
because he loves to kiss.
That makes sense. I mean, I think the best way I've heard it described is like a lot of the times people say like, "Oh, how could you enjoy watching your partner with someone else?" And the best explanation I've ever heard is that it's basically like watching a live action porno with the person you're most attracted to.
I
Like,
get that.
okay,
Plus, I love watching him. I love watching him
yeah,
enjoying himself. It actually turns me on.
makes sense. Someone said, "What is the blueprint to you seeing?" Oh, okay. Basically, what's the blueprint to you rebranding yourself, and then do you prefer studio work or fan content?
Okay. Well, I don't know if I've really rebranded myself because I've always been the same person. I've always been the same persona, even though I've taken breaks in between.
What
What
do
was the
you
second part of that
prefer
question?
shooting more, studio or OnlyFans just for fans?
Uh, eh, I think OnlyFans is a little easier because it's
Mhm.
more non-scripted, whereas studio porn is you got to do this, you got to come here, you got to rim here, you got to do this. It's not organic. It's more cookie cutter. So I think the spontaneity of the OnlyFans porn is a little bit more exciting to me. Not to say that I'm discounting the studio porn because that's still great, but I like the organicness of studio of
Uh-huh.
OnlyFans porn. I mean, because you're basically just doing what you want to do. You're just
Yeah.
filming it.
No, that makes sense. I get it. The South is frequently stereotyped as being anti-gay. What has your experience been living in a small town in the South?
Um, well, we live in the Bible Belt, for one. I don't know if anybody's done any research, but the highest amount of gay porn is consumed by people who live in the South. And in fact, if I want to go on Pornhub living in Mississippi, I have to prove the fact that I'm at least 21. I can't just go and click on Pornhub and access it. I actually have to prove that I'm 21. So, for being the highest consumer of gay porn, I find it very hypocritical that the South thinks that they're so Christian that
Mm,
things don't apply to them. I kind of just
yeah.
doesn't make sense. But I've never really had any bad experiences. I don't walk down the street and say anybody yell out fag. I do get looked at differently because I don't look like everybody here. Um, I live in the diabetes capital of the world,
Oh,
and being somebody who's muscular and out about town, I get
gotcha.
looked at a lot. Or they say, "You're not from around here, are you?" I get that a lot because I also don't
Yeah.
sound like a Southerner. Hunter sounds like a Southerner. I don't. I don't have the Southern twang. And we have some really we have, where we live. We live in a community. It's a gated community, and all of our neighbors are wonderful. We fly a gay flag, and nobody says
Oh,
anything.
huh.
So it's people are very different here. They all claim to be Christian. They don't talk about you to your face. They talk about you behind your back. Like, oh boy. And my favorite term is bless their heart. It sounds like a positive thing, but when you say bless your heart in the South, it means something
Wow.
derogatory.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So somebody, if you're in the South and somebody says, "Oh, bless your heart," they're not saying something nice.
Okay. Someone wants to know what is your favorite turn on and what is your favorite underwear?
My
Yeah.
favorite underwear. Oh boy. Um, Favorite turn on. I love sucking dick. Plain and simple. Um, I just love it. Um, and as far as underwear, we get asked by a lot of companies to model stuff online and Twitter and X. So I try on a lot of different stuff and wear a lot of different stuff, but I always end up going back to Field and Den is probably my most comfortable underwear.
Field and Den,
It's a new
DEN.
company that's out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's made kind of like to exist, but their fabric is incredibly soft. It's like the Lululemon of underwear, I guess.
Okay, how much is this Lululemon of underwear then?
I don't know. I've gotten it for free, so I think they're probably. I think it's actually quite reasonable, between
Oh,
20 and
that's
30
not too
bucks
bad.
a pair. I was just looking online last night. People are charging a crazy amount of money for stuff now. I found a pair of a little tiny speedo that was $110. I'm like, okay, they're only asking that much because gay people keep spending
Wow.
that much. $110 for small fabric that covers your dick and your ass.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fuck that. No, that's absurd. Hell no.
yeah.
Okay. Plans and goals for the future. Touched on it a little bit, but
Get through school. Yeah, just decide what it is what I want to do when I grow up. Get through school and just keep trudging along in life. And as long as people still want to see myself and Hunter naked, we'll just keep rolling out the OnlyFans stuff and the Just for fans. I'm just happy that at my age, people still want to see it.
dude, you look like beyond phenomenal though. I would have
Well,
never
thank you.
guessed. Like when you told me how old you were, I was like, what the fuck? No, I would have guessed 45, 44.
Well, I appreciate
So
that. Thank you. Like I say again, it's a progression. It's a always a work in progress, and it's a lot of work.
yeah. No, I can imagine.
I call it better living through chemistry.
Yeah.
Testosterone, peptides, Botox,
Yep.
filler, whatever it takes.
Okay. It says on your website, he says he works as a manager in a retail type environment. Oh,
Well, I
okay.
used to. Obviously, need to revisit that and update it. I used to manage I used to be a manager at a company called CarMax for about 10 years when I first moved here.
Okay. And then the second part of that question, though, is do you see any similarities in the attitudes between customers and porn fans and subscribers? It's a good question.
Hmm. I think people, the porn fans, just want to see the porn, whereas OnlyFans and Just for Fans and For My Fans, they kind of want to have an insight into what
Mm.
your everyday life is like. I get a lot of people wanting to know personal stuff as opposed to just watching me have sex on film. In fact, we have a couple of longtime subscribers that probably text every single day just asking, "What do you got going on today?" or "What are your plans? You guys traveling anywhere? Do you have any advice on this? I'm just coming out. What is your advice?" We even have a customer. I hate calling them customers. We have a friend on OnlyFans that is going through chemotherapy and cancer
Oh,
treatment right now. So, um, and he, excuse me, he says that um, the fact that we respond to him is helping him get through
oh,
his cancer.
that's awesome. Um, let's see. No, I think we covered all of that stuff. Okay.
Those are some interesting. Those are questions that
Yeah,
people have
yeah,
written in
those
and
are all
asked.
fan submitted.
Those are pretty deep
Uh,
questions. Those are pretty cool.
those are some good ones. Okay, so this next question, I ask this to everyone I interview, and like 99.9% have always given at least one of the similar answers. So don't fuck it up. No pressure.
All right.
If you could have sex in only two positions for the rest of your life, what would they be and why? Off camera.
Oh my God. Only two
Only two.
positions. Um, Me being the top or the bottom.
Give two answers.
Okay. All right. So as the top, I like my partner being on their back, legs up, so I can see their face. I'm big into eye contact. As a bottom, probably the same in a sling, so I can see the other person. And something about slings just get me. It's, I guess it's just the comfort and having your legs up and you don't have to really hold them. I'm old. I don't want to do that much work.
Yeah, there's actually a it's I
I don't.
bought one the other day, but like let's say you don't want to get a sling. It's like a pad that goes around your neck, and it's got these two straps that go out that you can put your feet into. So you could simulate that, but on the bed. Oh,
I've seen one of those. Yeah, we have a portable sling that we travel with once in a while.
a portable sling?
I think it was from Fort Troth. Yeah, the frame all comes apart. It's tubes,
How much that way though?
and then it has. It's not light. It's portable for the fact that you can take it with you,
Okay,
but it's
got
not
it.
light.
All right.
So did I answer that? Did I answer
Yep,
in the
yep. Everyone
99.9%?
says missionary.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
well,
I didn't say
I
mission.
mean,
Is that
on
is
their
it? That's
back,
a that
yeah,
is
that's
mission.
a version of missionary. But like
Okay.
the reason why I asked the question is because you'll see in movies and pop culture and everything. Oh, you're so boring. I bet you'd love to have sex in the missionary position. Like it's some bad thing. And no, it's the best
It's
fucking
not.
position. So I always ask people that. So like when regular people watch a show, they think, "Oh, I'm actually having the same sex that my favorite porn stars do." So
Okay. And for me, I don't know if it's my body, but anatomically, it's easier to get that through that second hole if I'm on my back than it is if I'm on all fours or kneeling or what any other
yeah.
position.
So are there any other things you're super passionate about in life?
Um, just getting through it. I just live every day, not as like it's my last day, but I just enjoy life. I like you name it. I like new experiences. I like traveling. I like sitting at home doing
Okay.
nothing.
All right. My last question is everything you've done, everything you've experienced, everything you've heard, like a culmination of your entire life. If there was one piece of advice you could give to the people watching or, the 16-year-old version of yourself, what would it be?
That's super easy. It's something that I've modeled my life after since I can remember is humility. Just being, just having humility. No one person is better than another. And you never know what somebody else is going through in a day. So if somebody perceives themselves as being a dick, you don't know what their life is. So humility and non-judgment, I guess.
Okay. Good answer. No one's actually ever given that before, so I like that.
No,
Okay.
I think that's the one thing that's kept me grounded through. I mean, it's not like I people don't know who I am, but I don't really take a lot of credence into
Mhm.
popularity, and I think humility
Yeah.
is sexy.
Agreed. Okay, so for anyone who's watching this or listening to this who's not familiar with your content, where can they find your Instagram, Twitter, OnlyFans, all that good shit?
Tyler St. Real is my Instagram. There's my X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it now. I keep my Instagram. Actually, I think there's a LinkedIn on if you go to Tyler St. Real on X, and you can find everything. OnlyFans is just at Tyler Saint. I think Just for Fans is Tyler Saint as well. But if you go to my X at Tyler Saint Real, there's a link tree in there. You can find everything. I actually even sell stuff online through another website where if you want to get a pair of underwear that I've owned or a tank top or a pair of socks, you can go ahead there and do that as
Okay.
well.
And then, so if someone's never seen not your studio work, but like let's say someone's never seen your OnlyFans just for fans, how would you describe or characterize what someone could expect to see?
Oh gosh, we're super diverse in our OnlyFans. They're just for fans. It could be anything from me, from Hunter filming me cutting my hair, to just doing something silly. We do a live cam once in a while of us cooking breakfast. And then obviously there's the sex part. We try to keep that varied as well. It's not a whole lot of just the two of us. It's not a whole lot of us with other people. So it's a good dichotomy of everything. So it's not boring. And we actually get a lot of compliments from people saying that they will continue to be members just because they're curious to see what we're going to post next.
Okay, I like that. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I enjoyed it. Um,
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to have me want to be on your
so
podcast.
Tyler, don't go anywhere. For those of you watching, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I will post Tyler's stuff below that YouTube will allow me to post. You can find my stuff down there as well, and I hope you guys all have an amazing week.
Hey guys, just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. And if you did really enjoy it, I just wanted to mention there are two ways that you can help to support this channel. On the right side, there are three little dots. If you click those, there is a super thanks button. And on the left hand side, there is a join button where you can join this channel. There are three different tiers of memberships. The top tier does actually allow one-on-one messaging with me via Discord, and I personally answer that. It is not a service. That's just, both of those are ways that you can help support me as a content creator in this channel. I mention this because YouTube is by far the thing that I enjoy doing the most. It's the thing I'm most passionate about. And unfortunately, a lot of the sexual videos, the porn star confessions, the Dom sub, all that stuff, it is not monetized due to the nature of the videos. But either way, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I hope you guys all have an absolutely amazing week. I love you all.